Güzin Hanım, hello, I see your name. How are you? Güzin Hanım, Dr. Dore Güzin Hanım is the economy attaché of Turkey in the Turkish embassy in Bahrain.
Hi.
She will be an entrepreneur, I think, in the future.
Hello, good evening all. I can't hear them.
Hi, good evening.
Hello, hi.
Hi, Farah.
وين الصوت؟
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Sorry for the delay a little bit. There was some technical problems here. Okay, I think we will start because we have already lost 10 minutes here. So a very good evening to you all. I would like to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency Sheikh Hisham bin Abdurrahman Al Khalifa, Governor of Capital Government, and the organizing team of the Manama Entrepreneurship Week for its 6th edition. As the entire world faces one of the biggest challenges of the century, COVID-19, we are happy that the Manama Entrepreneurship Week is going ahead virtually. Virtual sessions and meetings have become the new normal for all of us. And we have found that we are receiving a wider reach in terms of audience on this platform. The Bahrain Entrepreneurship Organization is delighted to collaborate with the World Business Angel Investment Forum Bahrain Country Office and to be part of this superb event. This is the second webinar that the WBAF Bahrain Country Office had organized, and the first was a few months ago and focused on a post-COVID-19 Bahrain. I would like to thank the participants for turning in and welcoming you to our roundtable discussion. How to become a qualified entrepreneur to ensure and secure smart finance and investment readiness. The topic of our roundtable this afternoon is vital for survival as an entrepreneur. We know all too well that the rate of failure amongst startups is very high due to not being prepared, and in today's session, we hope to delve deeper into this subject. Allow me to introduce our speakers today. Mr. Babers Altontas, Chairman of the World Business Angel Investment Forum, Dr. Paul Donay, Rector of the WBAF Business School, Mr. Israel Pons, President of the WBAF Angel Investment Fund, Mr. Fran Gelan, WBAF Global Fundraising Stage, and Ms. Helena Matusa, WBAF Country Director of Croatia. A very welcome to all of you, and I would like to give the floor to our chairman, Mr. Altontas. Please go ahead.
Thank you, dear Nas. I am also welcoming all speakers and all audience. And I'm really appreciating the efforts of the Manama governor to empower the Bahrain's and region's economy through entrepreneurship, innovation, startups, and angel investors. At the end of the day, as a response to COVID-19, I think the best response came in the Middle East from the governor of Manama by hosting the 6th version of Manama Entrepreneurship Week without stopping it. As you said, investment readiness is, as a matter of fact, the crucial part of early stage equity markets, because if startups are not ready to get smart finance of angel investors, then they cannot get it, even though they have great business ideas, great business plans, and great business models. So today's topic is very to the point, because startups and entrepreneurs have to care an important issue. Are they ready to use smart finance of other people? Until they establish, they create their demos, they are using money of their own money, or of their friends' money, or their close networks' money. But after they create a demo, the financial roadmap of an entrepreneur needs smart finance. Not only finance, but smart finance. And smart finance comes from angel investors. And it is very natural, every entrepreneur may not have an angel investor in their families, naturally. So this means they have to start visiting, pitching their business plans, business models, business ideas to third parties who are angel investors. And angel investors are not their family members. They are investing their money with an expectation of a good return of investment, naturally. They are not donating their money, they are investing. They must invest, they shouldn't donate, because if they don't have an expectation of a good return of investment in the next 5 to 7 years, it means they may not reinvest to new startups. So return of investment is very important to create a sustainable startup economy and to finance and fuel the new startups of the economy in the future. So return of investment is a must. And a good readiness to receive smart finance from angel investors is another must for startups. So there are two faces of the coin: angel investors and startups. Investing in the right team is very important for investors, and invested by the right team is very important for entrepreneurs and startups. So it is the responsibility of entrepreneurs to make a due diligence about their investors, if they are qualified angel investors, and it is the responsibility of investors to check if entrepreneurs are qualified entrepreneurs. So I think it is very important to understand these the stories of these two faces of the coin. So what, Feryal, you are trying to do is to prepare the Bahraini entrepreneurs. And I think, by the way, at the end of this roundtable, you are going to announce an investment readiness course. And
Exactly.
this course
Yes.
will be in English. This means not only Bahraini entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs of the Middle East, entrepreneurs of Europe, all the world can join your efforts by joining this educational program. So this means what you are trying to do is to empower entrepreneurs in order to connect them with qualified investors of the world. This is a big thing. So I'm congratulating you, your vision, and Bahrain country office is creating, is trying to do good things for the entrepreneurial ecosystem of the country. And this is what we experienced before with our Croatia country office, for example. And we are going to make great things also with Thailand country office in November on the investors education part. So first time in the Middle East and Gulf region, entrepreneurs are going to meet with the basic principles of getting investment from qualified angel investors. This is important. Why I am highlighting the word of qualified, because now the World Business Angels Investment Forum is defining, identifying entrepreneurs and qualified entrepreneurs in two different paths. Yes. Unfortunately, entrepreneurs of today have a big challenge. The challenge is there are many number of startups in the market who are trying to raise finance. So it is not enough to become only entrepreneur. It is important to become qualified entrepreneur to compete with other startups who are aiming to raise smart finance like them. So I am taking so much to Dr. Donay for his efforts to transfer his know-how with a great team at the WBAF Business School. A great lecturer will instruct for the investment readiness course in Bahrain. And I am leaving the floor to you, dear Abdullah Naz, and thanking you so much for your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babers, for your opening speech. And I will be having 3-round questions. Actually, we'll have 3-round questions for the whole panelist. And we will start with Mr. Paul Donay. We will go back to the smart financing. Mr. Donay, let's talk about smart financing and investment readiness. Can you explain to everyone turned in what these terms are and what is the best approach to educate themselves?
Thank you, Feryal. Thank you, Abars. Perhaps since we are speaking to the region now, let us take an example of the money, since in the end, the target is to obtain money. Finance, the source. Let's go to the source of the money. If that source of the money is being chased even by Aramco, okay? So let's get this in perspective. So we have a startup trying to get money, and Aramco is also trying to get money. What is Aramco offering to attract this IPO that they did? They are offering a guaranteed dividend of 10% on the money for the first 5 years, so long as the investor is locked in. At the end of that, remember, Aramco is on the stock market. The shareholder or the investor can decide to sell the share because there's a market price for it, or he can hold it. So let's compare with the probability of this money being lost. What's the probability of this investor buying Aramco shares and in 5 years losing all the money? 0, right? He doesn't know what it will be in 5 years, but he knows he will never use his capital. He will not lose it. During the 5 years, he's guaranteed to get 50% on his money. Now let's switch to the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is very excited about their idea. They're willing to take risk. Maybe, of course, they resigned from a job, so they have no income. So they believe that they have taken the risk in order to make a startup. They're willing to sacrifice a lot to do that. And because they are making the sacrifice, they think that they are entitled to get the money. So, okay, this is the problem now that entrepreneurs have with the idea that since they are taking risk, they automatically assume that the person with the money is going to share that risk with them. So therefore, if Aramco has to work this hard to get money, imagine how hard the entrepreneur has to work in order to get the money. okay? We are living in a world now where the cost of the money has to be benchmarked to, for example, let's say Aramco. It's a very good example, by the way. So now you are an entrepreneur and you need money, okay? Of course. So what is smart money? Smart money is an investor who is capable, first of all, of understanding the entrepreneur's request, capable of understanding the business of the entrepreneur. Because this is smart money, it means he can help you in some way. And by the way, if he doesn't understand you, he's not going to give you the money, right? So,
yes, definitely.
okay, so the angel investor may be, for example, not so smart in what they invest in, because remember, when we say smart, we mean that they have knowledge. It doesn't mean that they're smart necessarily, okay? Because in the end, to take risk in this type of thing, okay, maybe it's not so smart. So now we have to get to the person who needs the money. The person who needs the money has to speak the language of the money in order to convince the investor to give them the money. It is not only the idea that they have. Of course, they are very passionate and they're willing to take risk and they're risking a lot for it, fine. But what is the investor going to get in return, like Baibars indicated, right? So the investor is investing this, even though he's an angel. It means he's already better than a venture capital fund, meaning he's willing to go along the way with you, take a bit more risk than a venture capital fund would, give you the benefit of the doubt. So you need to speak that language, and to do that, it may not be your skill. Maybe you are a technology person, maybe you are a marketing person, maybe you are a salesperson. So you need some help. So you have to qualify yourself with people who know how to bring up that in you. And it's not very difficult. I have just given you a very simple example about how hard Aramco had to work to get money. So this is what you need to do as an entrepreneur. And always remember, the angel investor in the end is going to say yes or no. It's a very hard decision. There's nothing in between. It's a binary output. Yeah. So they have to try with many, and always should remember, the angel investor is talking to many candidate entrepreneurs, and they can always wait, right?
Yeah.
They can always wait. So time is on their side. Time is not on the side of the entrepreneur. Okay, at this point, I'll hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Doni. My next question will be to our speaker, Mr. Israel Pons. What is WBAF Angel Investing doing? How is WBAF Angel Fund supporting startups on the global fundraising stage?
Yes, thank you, Farial, and hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you and see that so many people are connected for this webinar. Yes. Congratulations on heading the Bahrain country office. I'm sure you'll be full of success. And I'm sure we will end up with quite a lot of angel investors coming from Bahrain also to support the entrepreneurial world.
Thank you.
So what many people will ask themselves, if there are angel investors around and they invest their own money directly into projects, into startups, why should there exist angel investment funds? And the reason why we created a WBAF Angel Investment Fund is precisely because to become an angel investor, you have to gain the knowledge. Many people think that by the pure fact that you are a successful business person, that gives you the right to be an intelligent investor, right? And a smart investor. And not necessarily, because the majority of successful people in their business, they have been successful because they have a number of years in their business, because they learned that it has been difficult to be successful, because they have had failures, because they have managed to get those rewards as well as challenges throughout the years. But what happens when you become an investor, especially when you become an angel investor? You need to understand a different industry than the one you come from. You need to understand that your role is going to be that of somebody that has experience, but has to become a mentor, has to become a coach, and also has to open a lot of network for those startups that you're going to be investing in. So when you come to WBAF Angel Investment Fund, one of the main things that we do is precisely show you how to become an angel investor, how you can then support and give you knowledge, as well as the general instructions of how to run a company, because you have done it, but you now need to become someone who is qualified. So WBAF Angel Investment Fund is created and is supported, and the investors are angel investors that are qualified angel investors that comply with the certain rules that we have in WBAF Fund, which is, first of all, human values, right? We want to know that the angel investors that are with the fund actually behave and do investment in order to make sure that they can deliver value to the startups. Also, angel investors have come from different industries, which it means that an angel investment fund can have support to different startups from different industries. Unlike some of the other funds where you only have one or two fund managers, they don't necessarily have all this variety of expertise. So what happens when you have a great group of angel investors all together with a vision? You will then need to look for the startups to invest in. And that's what we do at WBAF once a year in the global stage fund. We invite startups from all over the world to apply to come to Istanbul once a year. And that's where we start filtering and looking at the best projects. We obviously look for those companies that are the most innovative, disruptive, that they can scale very rapidly, but also they can become international. But we also look at the entrepreneur. And what are the bases of a good entrepreneur? First of all, is to be transparent, to have great values, to be a great human being. If we identify with that, we can then look at the business model. We can then look at the side of the money. We can then look at how Mr. Paul Duani was saying, but then we look at what return we're gonna have on the finances. Then we can look at all the specific stuff that we know exists out there for us. So WBA Fund is calling all the startups from around the world, and now hopefully we will get more startups from Bahrain to apply, to then come and pitch to us, so that we can then look at the best startups, the best entrepreneurs, and take decisions on how to support these startups.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pons, for your answer for our first questions. And now we will move to our entrepreneur, Mr. Fran Golan. As a startup, Mr.
Hello.
Fran. Hello, Mr. Fran. As a startup, how did you join the global WBAF fundraising stage?
So hello everyone.
You set an example for all the startups and entrepreneurs who are watching us today. So we are waiting to listen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much, especially Freya and Bebas, for giving me the opportunity to share my experience today. I'm Fran Guillem. I'm a serial entrepreneur here from Spain, and I'm a co-founder of Brio Agro, an agri-tech startup based here in Spain, Seville. I must also thank all the World Business Angel Forum members for their support. It was a real pleasure for me to attend the WBF event in Istanbul last February. I'm participating in the pitching competition. We were the winners, so it was amazing and an amazing experience. Yes, that was the way we know all of them, and it was an incredible experience. We have the chance to present our project, and we think that maybe in the future we can earn some great news together.
Can you share with us, Mr. Fran, what was your project? What was
yes, our project is a Brio Agro. Brio Agro is a intelligent irrigation platform. It's an agri-tech startup which use low-cost technology. Agri-tech, yes, agriculture technology, which use low-cost technology based on information obtained by sensors in the field and satellite. And our differential innovation is a soil moisture calibration algorithm. By connecting this data with the irrigation system, we can irrigate when the crops need it automatically. And we also provide alerts to the farmers of conditions that may threaten crops to take proper action in a timely manner via mobile app. Indeed, with this crisis, with this COVID crisis, many farmers and companies have realized that this is very important. It's very important to be able to monitor and operate their crops remotely. Because, you know, before that, a lot of people go to the field and see and irrigate themselves, but now it's not possible sometimes. So it's most important thing for agricultures to have the control on their crops.
Congratulate you for winning actually the global fundraising stage of WBAF, Mr. Fran. And we would love to know more about your project. Maybe you can share with us some information later. Now we will move to our wonderful Helena, Ms. Helena from Croatia, WBAF country office in Croatia. Please tell us about the role of the WBAF country office in Croatia within the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Croatia.
Yes, thank you, Ferial. Thank you, dear panelists, for having me in your company, and thank you all attendees for joining to hear the other side of the story. So WBF Croatia exists now we operate the second year now. We were established in January 2019. Why? So whatever we do, we always ask ourselves why. So should a startup. We opened the office because this alternative financing scene in Croatia is not so developed. We have only 2 operating VCs registered in Croatia. Other VCs that are making investments into Croatian ecosystems are foreign VCs. And usually when they invest into some company, the first, I would say, I don't know, what you have to do is to register your company outside Croatia and move from Croatia. And that is something that we want to influence. We want our startups to stay in Croatia. And also there was only one functioning angel network. So we saw a good opportunity to develop our ecosystem and offer our services to the Croatian ecosystem. What we did is we started with this investment readiness course, and it was like our MVP to see if the startups needed such an education, and if the angels in Croatia also needed such an education. And what happened in our first batch is that we really saw that startups are very poor in their financial literacy, I would say, not only when it comes to investors, but when in general it comes to planning their financial inflows and outflows and model of financing. Even when it comes to developing a business model, they struggle. They know their why. Sometimes they lack the perspective of their customer. And often they, when they talk to the investor, they often don't answer the questions right, as Mr. Donay was saying and talking about in his opening answers. What is the investor going to get in return if he invests in my startup? And what we saw with our startups in the batch 1, they often don't respond to that question. Because why should an investor get anything? I am I'm taking all the risk. And that is something that we need to educate our startups to know how to answer the questions, but also to know how to finance their venture, how to finance their business. Because if we teach them how to finance their business, then they will be able to think about angel investors, about credit lines, about VCs, and they will be pretty clear on the way they want to develop their business. On the other side, angel investor scene in Croatia, as I said, is not developed well. We have some silent angels. They are not certified. We had only one angel investor group, but they also were not structured very well and stopped investing a few years ago. So what we wanted to do is also to somehow wake up the other side of the scene, and you can wake up the angels if you show that they have something to invest in. So that is what we have been doing for the last 2 years. We have now batch 3, another 20 startups joined us for our investment readiness course. So I think
we'll come to this
yeah,
question.
okay, thank you.
We will come.
Yeah.
You have answered my second question, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
So we will thank you, Helena, for answering the first question, and we will go back to the investment readiness course in Croatia,
Okay.
and then in the second round. So I'll go back to Mr. Done. What are the angel investors' expectations from investing in startups from WBAF point of view?
Thank you, Faryal. Okay, so angel investors, in a nutshell, the first thing they want to know is they want to know what is the probability of them losing their money, right? And basically, I'm not talking about the return now. I'm talking about what is the probability that this business will succeed, right? Because these type of startups can only succeed or fail, unfortunately. It's a binary output as well. In that sense, this is very critical, and I would suggest that that an entrepreneur that is talking to such type of an angel investor needs to understand the angel investor a lot more than the angel investor needs to understand the entrepreneur, right? Because if he's a smart investor, it means that they understand something about your business. Then they already probably have a point of view. For example, they may like the idea that you have. Oh, okay, it's a very good idea. Excellent, that's a good start, right? If they don't like the idea, then you may as well end the conversation, because nothing you can do as an entrepreneur to convince an investor by the returns they may get, So let's be very clear about returns, you see? Very, very important. Yeah. For example, I go back to the Aramco example. If Aramco raised all that IPO money by borrowing, do you think they would pay a 10% interest on a loan? They can borrow money cheaper than that, by the way, because it's guaranteed. So why Aramco wanted public shareholders? It's the same thing, right? Because they want the company to have a market value, right? So this is very critical. So the angel investor wants to make sure that this entrepreneur is going to build something up and it has a market value that can then either provide a dividend, which means basically a distribution of profit, or it can be sold. So one of these two outcomes have to come. The first one, do I think this business has even a probability of success? Okay, we crossed the first one. Okay, good idea, good chance of success. Now, okay, team, knowledge, etc. Fine. We can boost it up. Fine. And now we come to what always Baibars reminds people is the exit. I also would like to say, that we are living in a world now where perhaps dividends could also be an important reference. So I would also recommend very much to entrepreneurs to encourage angel investors by giving them, for example, a priority right on profits. For example, if you can build the company up into a profitable level, if it's that kind of a company, which means you're building a company up on financial metrics, that means it will have not a market value because somebody will buy it, but actually it can pay a dividend, okay? And then we come to the trade sale option, which means someone is saying, I don't think I can pay any dividends forever. This company will never pay dividends. This company is going to be worth something for someone to buy it. Yeah, who is that? Rule number one, should be more than one. If you're building your company because only Google is going to buy you, that's not a very good idea, for example. I mean, a Google, a large company. And that, of course, would be an important metric to a quote-unquote smart angel investor. But let's also return to one very important point, which I think also Mr. Pons responded here, said that we are basically talking about good people here, right? So we're talking about entrepreneurs who are good people. They have high ethics, they represent well, they say everything. Same thing, they give you the facts. And then we have the same from the angel investor. So the angel investor, by definition, an angel investor, quote unquote, is basically a good person. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be spending their time looking at these things, right? Because it's better for them to buy Aramco shares and sleep at night for the next 5 years, right? So, and the angel investor, by the way, earned their money the hard way, right? They worked for it. I mean, if they got easy money from, you know, I don't know, from a gamble or something, then they want to gamble it away again. I don't think we have those type of people, right? So that's basically what I would say, you know, at this point to your question. And these are not difficult things for people to learn, you know. These are very easy. The metrics are quantifiable, important, quantity, numbers, not ideas. Ideas are not going to get us anywhere. We have to be very precise with numbers and a range of expectations. Remember, so we always say a high and a medium and a low. Low, of course, can be a catastrophe. Good, okay, we know that. What's the middle case, brother, sister? Okay, good. Upside, I don't want to hear the upside. Never, ever sell anything on an upside, okay? If it comes, enjoy it, but never sell it on that.
Thank you, Mr. Doni. And definitely the return of investment is very, very important for angel investors and for any businessman or entrepreneur or any investor. And I'm sure angel investors will learn more about this once we give the QVAC course maybe in Bahrain to teach the angel investors about their expectations and the criteria in future. We will move to Mr. Pons. Is there any investment global WBAF angel fund made and invested on startup on the global fundraising stage? We need to hear some successful fundraising stage results from you, please.
Yes. Okay. Well, Feria, we are on this panel. We have Brio Agro, which is the startup that has won it. Let's remember the creation of the WBAF Business Angel Fund was precisely done to accelerate the way in which some of the startups go and pitch in front of angel investors. So imagine that as a startup, you normally go and knock on people's doors, right? We heard about the co-founder of Starbucks and the last meeting we had, or annual meeting in Istanbul, that you know, Starbucks had to pitch to 200 different investors before it go 1 year. Okay, so this is a numbers game. Coming back to what Mr. Dueni said, Dr. Paul Dueni said, it's a numbers game. You have to pitch, you have to do it well, you have to offer your returns, you have to know exactly where you are. Well, that's exactly what we wanted to be more efficient for the startups. So on this year, in February, we launched the fund at the global startup raising stage. And that is where we now have Brio Agro as the one startup chosen. So what are we looking for? What is success? What stories of success we want? First of all, we want people that are happy, right? Angel investors don't invest to be bored with their investments. We look to enjoy ourselves, and we need to talk about that. You look at somebody like Brian with a big smile, you do want to have a board meeting every month with him, right? If he didn't smile and he was just, you know, sad and everything, you think, okay, you know, do I really want to be in the next 5 to 7 years invested in an entrepreneur that doesn't know how to smile, doesn't know how to enjoy themselves? Also, angel investors do invest in something exciting, because something boring, yes, you know, with all due respect to Aramco, we will go and invest on shares that on the stock, right? And they're a little bit boring themselves. So we want to get involved with people. Angel investors is about having fun. It's about having a sleepless night. Yes, it's about doing work. But you are happy to create the sleepless nights when you have these types of entrepreneurs in front of you, because they bring you the energy, they bring you their passion, you bring your expertise, you also bring that, you know, correlation between people, and that's why you want to do it. So WBAF Fund is not a boring fund. We like to have a lot of fun, like our fund says, but actually we are looking for startups from around the world. And where else is another stage that can actually bring startups from all over the world? And you sitting in the background, I go the room, right? The primary room, where you can go and pitch. To all those seats, you find a lot of angel investors. So not only you as a startup are pitching to the WBAF Fund in this global raising a startup like this one we have here. Imagine you there in front of these people. Those are the members of the committee. Thank you very much, Mabel, for sharing the slides.
Thank you. Thank you,
it's just amazing. You know, it's just amazing. You have to come here. And where do we want the successful stories? From all these countries. And obviously, WBAF is ready to invest in more startups. We are looking forward to the next fundraising stage that we're going to generate in 2021. And we invite all the angel investors to come and join us, and also the startups from Bahrain to come and apply to this stage.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pons, for your answer. And I think reaching reach the startups, when they are reaching the startups to that global fundraising stage by itself is a success. Even if they don't win, I think this is by itself, to reach that level is a success. And in front of all those amazing angel investors and this huge network for the WBAF.
That's right.
Thank you very much. We will move to our entrepreneur, Mr. Fran. Please tell us about, again, we will go back to the global fundraising stage. Please tell us about how the global fundraising stage has helped your business and what is your experience with the WBAF. We need to know, how did it affect your, maybe the size of your business in Spain? How did you feel about it?
Okay, yes, the experience was amazing, like you say, and Israel and Baibars is showing, because you know, the first time that you talk with an investor is not an easy conversation. Huh? I think that really is really important to have a good contacts, to have a good network, and to establish early relationships with investors. Because the investment is not made in one day, so you have to develop a relationship with them, and develop a relationship with people that really have the opportunity to contribute to your project, not only with money. Of course, money is important, but also with other things like knowledge, contacts, network for expansion, like the cases of World Business Angel Forum is very important for us, because we have investors here prepared to invest in our company, but the World Business Angel Investment Fund is very important for us, because they have a very strong network of members, of senators, high commissioners, in all the world, and for us it's very important. It's key for our business development. So yes, we are now closing this investment round, and we are developing relationships with members of the World Business Angel Forum. Indeed, today, for for us, it's an opportunity. I just received several LinkedIn connections of people asking information, or people trying to help us to develop our business in their countries. So that's the real spirit of investment ecosystem that Baibars is creating, and other members of World Business Angel are also contributing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Friend. Back to Ms. Helena. We will go to the investment readiness course that you have conducted in the WBAF country office in Croatia. What is your experience with this course? How did they benefit? How did the startups in Croatia benefit from this course?
Yes, we launched our course last year in, I think it was September. Mariam Nayafi from WBAF from Iran was our teacher in this course, and we learned what was the aim with the course, what we wanted our participants to learn. First of all, we wanted them to hear how do investors talk from somebody that's not from Croatia. And that's why we invited Mariam, and she was excellent in bringing some international knowledge. And that was also the case where they really started believing, yes, there are investors there. And yes, we have to learn how to talk with them. So that was the first thing we wanted to teach them. The second thing is really we tried to make them think about their business model, about how will they make their business to be sustainable. And starting from there, we really did teach them, Mariam really did teach them how to present their business clearly to the investor, how to talk about the returns for the investor, and how to talk about what they will invest their money into. That is also very, very important. So if you are talking to an investor, and you are saying, yes, I need another investment round amounting to, I don't know, 100,000 euro or dollars, whatever, you really need to know what do you need the money for. Also, that is also very important when talking to an investor. We got a really good feedback from our participants. Not only on the program, but we got very good feedback from investors, because at the end of the investment course, we organized a networking with investors and our participants, and they really had the opportunity to talk one-on-one with angel investors and VCs in Croatia. And it was very enjoyable, and they really got their network going on, started networking, and they followed on the leads they got with the possible angels and investors, and really developed their business starting from there.
May I know how many startups did they took the course?
So in batch 1 last year, we had 20 startups joining, 20 participants. We started batch 2 and 3 this year. So actually we started batch 2 together with an Estonian VC, startup Wise Guys. It's called Tech Boost program. It's oriented towards tech companies, but also that are developing alongside some or producing some kind of social impact with their businesses. We have 2 batches altogether, also new 20 startups in Croatia. And we are actually following on that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Helena. And I think we are running out of time, and there are so many questions that we are receiving at the same time. We will be, I will give the last question, which is one more round. And please, I want a very brief answer for those questions, because so we can see if we can answer some of the participants' questions. Mr. Done, please tell us more about the WBAF Business School and some success stories of people that have benefited from the WBAF Business School in terms of different courses. We are not talking only about the investment readiness course now. The WBAF school, as we all know, has different courses, we want to hear from you.
Thank you. The business school, in fact, will be launched formally very soon, and I will leave the very last word, since Baybars Bey will be doing the concluding statement. He can give a more light in relation to the timing of it. The business school is actually not only designed in its intent for investors and startups, it can also be offering a very important contribution to existing and operating companies, for example, through the importance of business transformation, the importance of digital transformation, the importance of introducing certain technologies such as fintech into the businesses that are already operating. You probably also noticed from the way I am trying to conduct these type of engagements, we are talking as well about case studies. It's very important. People can learn a lot, not from an academic exercise of just speaking about conceptually things, but actually taking a case study. There are two kinds of case studies. Some case studies are things that actually happened, but what is even more interesting is to assemble a team of knowledgeable people that can engage with the management team in relation to building a case study for their business, okay? So this is, I think, a unique business school. Now Baybars Bey is sharing the online look of it.
Sharing my favorite part. Thank you, Mr. Doni.
Thank you.
Mr. Pons, what are the criteria of startups required in order to participate in the fundraising stage? How will the investment readiness course will support them to reach the WBAF global fundraising stage? This is very important, and we want to hear it from you, please, in brief.
Right, thank you. Yes, they have to have three main things, right? They have to be market proven. That means that they have to have some traction, some sales, small sales, medium sales, or large sales, it doesn't matter. They have to be looking for investment of a ticket, anything between $50,000 to $250,000 for the next stage. And also they have to be, as we said, innovative and disruptive, and with a vision to actually operate in more than one country. One of the key elements is that as a startup from whatever country you're coming from, if you are chosen to be one of the startups, because this year we're going to choose more startups to invest in, you will need to have a local co-investor. That's very, very important. That's one of the key areas of W Angel Investment Fund, is that the startup will have a local angel co-investor that will come through us, and we will get them ready also to be a qualified angel investor if they are not. So the value that WBAF Fund brings is quite high. It's not just money, as Fran was saying as well. It's contact, it's knowledge, but it's what are you looking for? Is to grow internationally. You are the early stage, then we are the fund for you to come and look for.
Thank you, Mr. Pons, for the amazing answer. We will move to our entrepreneur, Mr. Fran. What would you recommend to those that would like to participate in future for the WBAF global fundraising stage? What is your recommendation and what is your advice?
Okay, briefly, of course, you have to develop a good pitch deck and elevator pitch. This is key. This takes a lot of time and experience to do because there are many mistakes that can be made. I usually compare it to a language test. at school where a single spelling mistake could get you an F. That's why it's better to seek advice here. So this is important. Of course, you have to be always reliable, honest, and transparent. Because if you get caught in a lie, you are out, and you won't have another chance to prove that you can be trusted. So that's my suggestions to the entrepreneurs that apply to the World Business Angel Forum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fran. Ms. Helena, your last question today is, what progress the participants of the investment readiness course show after the course, and how many startups joined the course? You have answered this question actually, but yeah. I need only the progress of the participants after the investment readiness course.
Yes. So at the course, you will learn theory, but also the theory will be learned based on case studies, as Dr. Paul also said. And during the course, you will practice, practice, and practice. And when you stand in front of the investor, you will know the theory and you will have the experience. And that is what raises your chances to be very successful in raising your new investment round. Out of our 40 startups that joined us in previous 2 years, because we go for the quality, not quantity, I think 70% of them made positive contacts and made a step forward in talking to angel investors, VCs, and making it possible for them to raise another investment round.
Thank you very much, Ms. Helena. I have actually 3 questions here, which I don't think we have time to answer everything because we have to give the floor to our chairman for the closing remark, but we will only put these 3 questions and anyone can answer it, I mean, if possible. The best innovations are created in response to specific urgent problems like the COVID-19, and our most urgent problems are there and potential solutions. What would be post-COVID challenge as a smart entrepreneur? I don't know, I didn't understand really the questions, but what would be post-COVID challenge as a smart entrepreneur? Can anyone answer, please, from the panelists?
Feryal, why don't you answer it?
I'm waiting for you.
No, I am joking. I am joking. Dr. Done, I think you will do it.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Let me tell you, this is a wrong question, and never ever try to prejudge what should be coming. COVID, no COVID, etc. You know, it's basically a wrong question because you're trying to anticipate. There are things that work and don't work. Look at the case before you, okay? Whoever is coming over to you, you can't just seek them that way. And always also, I would very strong advice I would generally give people, stay away from your comfort zone. If you know a lot in one area and you think, for example, digital transformation now is going to blow up because of coronavirus, okay, it may not work exactly as you think. So that's basically what I would say.
I have an idea.
There, Feryal, very quickly.
Frank, do you want to answer? Pons, yes, please. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Just to add on to Dr. Duane's points, let's remember, COVID-19, the difference is with COVID-19 is that everybody in the world has been affected. But in the past, regional economies, countries have been affected individually by their own ecosystem on how they have become under. Right? There have been illnesses in areas and in countries that it hasn't affected other countries. So entrepreneurs are used to that. Business people are used to the challenges. So I will say, don't think too much what happened post-COVID. Keep innovating. There'll be other challenges and create something that is resilient to change. And when you change often, because those challenges will keep coming. They're not going to go away. There's no post-COVID, it's not going to be great after. Right? It's not going to be, everything is going to be fine. There will be other challenges, and we have been there before.
totally agree.
Exactly. And I think the COVID-19 really taught us all different things, and as a result, so many business models has to change. I mean, there are sectors that we need to concentrate on. There are sectors that we have to quit from. So I think we have learned a lot, and the smart entrepreneurs will think in a very innovative way. I think I will end the questions here because we are really running out of time, and I will give the floor to our chairman for the closing remarks before I thank you all. Thank you all, our panelists, and I will re-thank you again after our chairman. Please, Mr. Babers.
I think Dr. Done wants to say something. After him, let's also hear from Fran, because Fran also wants to say something, I think, about it. And then I will complete it from my time.
Okay,
please, Done.
Okay, actually, I was just, saying thank you to you, but since you opened it just in 1 second and one very clear, this is a platform and a forum for people who can share information. It's a place for people who can learn. So of course we have formal courses, but we also have informal gatherings. And also very importantly, never miss out the importance of the fear of missing out. The fear of missing out is what the entrepreneur needs to work on, okay? Did you get that? Fear of missing out. Investors don't like to miss out on good things, okay? Just work on that idea.
Thank you very much. Mr. Fran?
Okay, Holly, briefly, don't forget the climate change. I think this is a big crisis that is coming, and the United Nations said that in 5 years, only 5 years, 1.5 billion people will experience absolute water scarcity. So this is very difficult crisis to, is coming. And so it's not only is COVID, there are a lot of crises, and like Israel said, we have to suffer is and of course overcome this. So thank you very much, Bayer, for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Babers, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Abdullah Nas. Investors invest in the jockey, not the horse. This is the general, their common interest is jockey, not the horse. This means, of course, education for the horse is important, but more important is the education of the jockey, entrepreneur. WBAF Business School, under the leadership of Dr. Done. By the way, maybe you may think that Dr. Done is a lecturer at a university with an educational industry background. No, this is not the case. Dr. Done was the CEO of one of the biggest companies in Turkey, one of the a $10 billion company, Turk Telecom, with 32,000 people working until December.
MashaAllah.
But in addition to his CEO-ship, for many years representing the government of Turkey in the board, by the way, he invested in many startups from his personal pocket as an angel investor. Plus, he is well known in Turkey as the person who brought the corporate venture capital system in the real sense. He established the CVC department of Turk Telecom. So I'm giving very importance to his vision, and his vision really shaped the business school in a very good way. We both of us really believe in the power of practice rather than theory. So yes. Here, knowledge, practice, data, skill development, all of them are coming and trying to support entrepreneurs and investors, especially in these COVID times. I think the best response of an institution could be to establish an educational program, an educational institution, an educational course in this pandemic environment, because all entrepreneurs, all investors need a good education. a good education that will really make a progress in their business, that will really support their business and digital transformation. Because from the biggest company, from the smallest company to the biggest one, every company, every entrepreneur now should execute the business and digital transformation. So Dr. Done, for example, established the business transformation department, maybe first in the world, at the WBAF Business School. And I think these programs will really be instrumental for entrepreneurs and investors to reach and accelerate their goals. I want to thank to Israel Pons too, because under his leadership, Angel Investment Fund made a very good progress in a very short period of time. As a matter of fact, I mean, he invited Fran to this meeting, but there were 13 startup ventures this fund choose to make due diligence after this Congress, and Fran was one of them. I think one of them was from Croatia, who joined the investment readiness course. I think this is what I remember now. And from Russia, from Croatia, from many countries, from Turkey, there were many startups selected from these 100 as due diligence by the fund. But the only fund investor in the room was not Angel Investment Fund of the WBAF. Please don't misunderstand. Private equity funds, wealth management institutions, family office. There were around 200 people in the Congress looking for these startups and entrepreneurs. Even from Costa Rica, there was a startup. This is what the longest one came and joined the Congress. Israel Pons is now chairing and also honorary president of Scala, which is the Angel Investors Federation of the Latin America and the Caribbean. And from Bolivia, to Mexico, from Uruguay to Paraguay, all these investors of the region are members of his federation. And what I see is it is really very good, because his team, his executive investment team, includes from Dubai, from Kuwait, from Latin America, from Europe. These different perspectives, visions are coming together at the investment decision process. I think it is very important. This diversity really gives an extra value to startups to be invested by the WBAF Angel Investment Fund. What I heard from the reports that, for example, after Fran joined the Congress, I think they raised some amount of money, a serious amount of money from the European Union as a seed funding, something like this. This is what I heard. This is giving an opportunity to startups like, some companies go to NASDAQ, for example, with only one reason: to be a listed company at NASDAQ, because this gives a good power to these companies to be a company as listed by NASDAQ. So I think WBAF is supporting startups by giving them an opportunity to become an invested company by the WBAF. At the end of the day, WBAF is one of the 9 affiliated partners of the G20 Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion, and we are promoting our startups that we invest globally. This is very important. From this global perspective to Bahrain, I want to say a few words about the Bahrain entrepreneurship ecosystem, dear Feryal, because I visited Bahrain. The second country I think I visited very much after Croatia is Bahrain. I see Bahrain a very similar to Estonia. I see many similarities between Estonia and Bahrain. Estonia is a small country, around 1.5 million population. But Estonia Business Angels Network was awarded in Brussels as the best angel network investing in the Estonian in the entrepreneurs of Europe. So from a small country, it is very possible to create a global success story. But when I checked the background of this success in Estonia is very similar. My findings are very similar to Bahrain one. Ecosystem is working very well. There is an ecosystem. This is very important for countries.
They are very lucky.
Yes. And what I see, because
thanks to our leadership,
I think this ecosystem is really bringing all stakeholders together, and this convergence of stakeholders is creating an extra power for the startups and entrepreneurs of the country. This is what I see, and this is very important. So what I see in Bahrain is the same issue. So I think this Manama Entrepreneurship Week is a good signature of such kind of an convergence. And I'm very happy to announce that, if you don't mind, let's share this good news.
Please, that we are running out of time, Mr. Babers. We need to announce.
Yes, His Excellency Sheikh Hisham bin Abdulrahman Al Khalifa, the governor of Manama, he will be this investment readiness course to be organized by the WBAF Bahrain country office under the leadership of NAS, will be under the patronage of the Manama governor. I think it is very important because first time a governor is taking all the stakeholders, all the ecosystems, good parts to support such kind of an education program. This is showing the commitment of the governor to the importance of education. I think it is very important. And we are going to hold a certificate ceremony on 21st of December, Monday, 2 p.m. GMT. It will be, of course, reconfirmed to be hosted by the governor of capital. And the course will start on 26th of November, will end on 17th of December. And the good thing is the difference between the Croatia course and this course, this is online, it was in person. So you had to fly to Zagreb to join this course in Croatia. But now you can only click the Zoom link and join the course. So I think the climate change, as Fran said, works in the education industry in a good way. So Feryal, thank you very much for organizing this roundtable as a part of the Manama Entrepreneurship Week. And I am really taking to His Excellency Abdulrahman bin Abdulrahman Al Khalifa for his efforts to, yes, Sheikh Hisham bin Abdulrahman Al Khalifa for his efforts to connect the Bahrain entrepreneurs with global investment markets. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babers, the chairman of WBAF, and thanks to all our panelists today. We enjoyed the roundtable and it was very fruitful and interesting. And very sadly, we need to end our session today. And again, I would like to thank His Excellency Sheikh Hisham bin Abdulrahman, the governor of Capital Governorate in Bahrain, and the organizing team for such a very successful conference, the Manama Entrepreneurship Week, and we wish them more success in the future editions, hopefully. And thank you all. Thanks to our participants that they were patient with us today. And thank you all. and see you next time in our future webinars. Thanks. صورتيني؟ خليلي شو صور شوي.